This video is going to be talking about France and the colonization of Francophone West African countries. The focus will be on 8 West African countries: Mali, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Niger, Benin, Guinea, Senegal, and Mauritania. In the late 19th century, France decided to start colonizing countries in West Africa during the period known as the Scramble for Africa. They first started in Senegal, then went on to colonizing the 7 other countries: Mali, Guinea, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Benin, Niger, and Mauritania. In 1895, they were all grouped under French West Africa up until 1958, where Guinea was the first West African country to gain independence from France in 1958, and the rest gained independence in 1960. Here is a run-through of the history of each country before colonization. Mali before colonization was home to powerful empires like the Mali Empire, which flourished from the 13th to 17th century. Mali was known as French Sudan during the colonial period. The name French Sudan was used from 1899 until 1959, when it gained autonomy within the French community. It became fully independent as the Republic of Mali on September 22, 1960. Guinea before colonization was not known by a unified name as it is today. Instead, the territory was inhabited by various ethnic groups and kingdoms. These included the Mandinka, Fulani, and Susu. It was only after colonization that the territory became known as French Guinea under French colonial rule. It became fully independent as Guinea on October 2nd, 1958. Before colonization, Ivory Coast was inhabited by diverse ethnic groups like the Baoulé, Bete, Senofo, and Malinke, and other various indigenous ethnic groups, but it did not have a unified name. The name Ivory Coast was later given by European traders and colonizers due to the region's abundant ivory trade along its coastline. After gaining independence from French colonial rule on August 7, 1960, the country officially adopted the name République de Côte d'Ivoire. The government mandated the use of the French version of the name, regardless of language. Before colonization, Burkina Faso as a modern nation-state did not exist. Instead, the region was inhabited by various ethnic groups, organized into different kingdoms, chiefdoms, and societies. It was only during the colonial period that the territory now known as Burkina Faso was known as Upper Volta, a name given by the French colonial administration. Upon gaining independence from France on August 5, 1960, the newly formed nation adopted the name the Republic of Upper Volta. The name was officially changed on August 4, 1984 to Burkina Faso. Before colonization, Senegal was inhabited by various ethnic groups, including the Wolof, Sere, Fulani, and Mandinka. The Wolof Empire, which emerged in the 14th century, was known for its centralized administration and trade networks. After World War II, Senegal pushed for autonomy, leading to independence on April 4, 1960. The country retained its name, derived from the Wolof word Sunugal, meaning our boats. Before colonization, Niger was home to diverse ethnic groups, including the Hausa, Sama, Tuareg, Fulani, Kanuri, and Songhai. The name Niger is derived from the Niger River, which flows through the region. The country adopted the name Niger upon gaining independence from France on August 3, 1960. Before colonization, the region that is now Benin was home to several powerful kingdoms and societies. Before colonization, Benin was referred to as Dahomey. The name Dahomey originated from the indigenous Fon people who inhabited the area. On August 1, 1960, Dahomey formally declared independence from France, becoming a sovereign nation-state. The country's name was changed to Benin on November 30th, 1975, to reflect a new national identity and break away from its colonial past. Mauritania before colonization was home to diverse ethnic groups, including the Berber, Moor, Soninke, Fulani, and Wolof people. On November 28, 1960, Mauritania formally declared independence from France, becoming a sovereign nation-state. Now, if you notice the pattern, you'll realize that before colonization, these countries didn't exist. They were just regions of different ethnic groups, kingdoms, and tribes living in the land, which is why today you'll notice a lot of similarities with cultures in West Africa. French is widely used in West Africa. This is due to the region's colonial history with France. It serves as a lingua franca, helping people from different ethnic groups and tribes to communicate. However, it's important to note that many West African countries have numerous indigenous languages spoken alongside French. As a result, many West Africans are bilingual or multilingual, speaking both French and their local languages fluently. The countries that have French as their official language in West Africa are Ivory Coast, Benin, Niger, Senegal, Togo, and Guinea. Mali and Burkina Faso dropped French as the official language in 2023 after it being the official language since 1960. Mauritania's official language has been Arabic since 1991. However, French is still used in these countries despite it not being their official language. All of these countries, with the exception of Guinea and Mauritania, use the West African CFA franc as their currency. When Guinea decided to issue its own currency in 1960, called the Guinean franc, also known as the Guinean cedi, France decided to sabotage this by flooding the economy with false banknotes. Their intelligence agency dropped bags full of counterfeit Guinean francs printed in France from helicopters and planes around the country. They removed light bulbs, burnt medicine so Guineans couldn't use it, and more. This sent a clear message to other countries. If you want to go down that road, you know what happens. Despite these difficulties, Guinea continued to use its own currency, the Guinean franc, which remains the official currency of Guinea today. Mauritania introduced its own currency called the Ouguiya in 1973 after using the CFA franc. Unlike Guinea, Mauritania didn't face big problems for making this change. This might be because they handled the transition differently. Overall, French colonialism has left a large impact in West Africa, shaping the region's language, culture, education, economy, and administration. While each country has pursued its unique path of development since gaining independence, France's influence remains a significant factor in many aspects of West African society.
Hey! Hey!